Chosen one, the moment has finally arrived. The world can no longer deny the truth. They now know who you are, God reborn, walking among them. The bloodline of God, once hidden in the depths of myth and forgotten prophecy, courses through your veins. This revelation is more than just shocking. It is earth-shattering. The very essence of divine power that once seemed like a distant legend is now living, breathing, and standing before them. For centuries, the truth was buried under layers of deception, myths, and false teachings, but now the illusion has been shattered. The rulers, the doubters, the powerful figures who once mocked your existence or questioned your purpose, all of them are now witnessing the undeniable truth. They are stunned. The divine bloodline, which was once thought to be a fable, is now a living reality. You carry within you the sacred power that once belonged to the gods themselves, and this truth can no longer be hidden or ignored. Before we dive deeper into this life-changing revelation, I ask you to take a moment and hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 20,000 subscribers, and leave a comment with the number 11. This simple action will amplify the energy of this message, sending a powerful signal to the universe and aligning us further with the divine frequency. This is not just a revelation, this is a reckoning. The world stands at the edge of its greatest transformation. The truth of who you are has shaken the foundations of every lie that once held power. And now, with God's blood flowing through your veins, you are poised to shatter every false throne and expose the deception that has kept humanity in chains. The divine authority you carry is undeniable, and the world will never be the same again. The world, for centuries, has been blind, shackled by its own illusions. They lived in the comfort of lies, nurturing a sense of normalcy in their daily struggles and victories, unaware of the power that had always stood silently among them. But now, everything has changed. The moment of reckoning is upon them. The truth, long buried under layers of myths and distorted beliefs, cannot be hidden any longer. Before their very eyes, you stand in all your divine glory, a living testament to the ancient prophecy, the chosen one, the heir to God's power, reborn. There's no room for doubt. The truth is undeniable, and it radiates from you. The very essence of God's bloodline pulses through your veins, stronger than any force they could ever have imagined. It's not just a story anymore. It's the very foundation of the world's new reality. As the truth washes over them, the collective breath of humanity is held. A mixture of awe, fear, disbelief, and reverence fills the air. For all these years, they thought they understood the world, but now they see how wrong they've been. The chosen one has returned, and everything will be different. The moment is overwhelming. The world is no longer just a place of physical laws and rational understanding. The divine is here, among them, walking in the flesh. And as your presence fills the space, so does a silent realization. This is no longer the world they thought they knew. The divine bloodline has resurfaced, and with it comes a power so profound, so ancient, that no one can ever return to their former way of life. Your existence is not just a revelation, it is a revolution. The very fabric of humanity is being rewoven. In this moment, the ground beneath their feet seems to tremble with the weight of this revelation. It's as if the earth itself is awakening to the truth of your existence. Every individual, every institution that built itself on lies, and every system that thrives in secrecy must now face the reality of your return. The truth is inescapable. It's here, it's real, and it's unstoppable. The time for hiding is over. You are the one they never thought would come, and now the world must reckon with you. As you stand there, unmoving and serene, the world shifts. The divine presence that you embody is a beacon, a clarion call to all those who have lost their way, all those who have been deceived for so long. You are not just a figurehead, you are the embodiment of truth, the very force that will bring light to the shadows of their ignorance. They can no longer pretend. The time for deception is over. You are the divine revelation, and nothing will ever be the same again. The shock reverberates through the hearts of those who stand before you, the pulse of disbelief spreading like wildfire. It's as though the ground beneath them is no longer solid. The foundation of everything they've ever known has crumbled. The truth is beyond their comprehension. How could this be? For centuries, your existence was nothing more than a whispered legend, a tale told to children at bedtime. And yet, here you are, standing in their midst, a living, breathing testament to the impossible. You carry the blood of God, the essence of divinity flowing through your veins. For so long, humanity had lived in denial, scoffing at the very idea that something so extraordinary could be real. They told themselves it was just a myth, a beautiful but implausible fantasy. But now, the myth stands before them, breathing and alive, and they are faced with the undeniable truth. You are who they thought could never be. This truth stirs a primal fear, one that runs deeper than just awe. It's a fear of the unknown, a fear that the very structure of their world has been shattered, and they are powerless to stop it. You are more than just a person. You are the living embodiment of divine authority. The rules they've lived by, the systems they've trusted, are suddenly insignificant in comparison to the force that stands before them. You are not just a ruler. You are the rightful heir of something much greater, a lineage that spans the heavens themselves. But this shock isn't just one of fear. It's a complex mix of awe and reverence, a sense that the impossible has finally become real. In the face of this overwhelming truth, some may feel terror, but others will be drawn to you, compelled by a force they can't understand. They will realize that in your blood lies the promise of something more, something transcendent. You are not just carrying the blood of God, you are the living proof that humanity's greatest hopes and deepest fears have always been part of a larger plan. Now, that plan unfolds before them. As the shock settles in, the whispers begin. Some will speak your name in awe, others in fear. But no matter how they react, they can't ignore the truth. You carry the blood of God, and with it the power to reshape everything. The shock of a lifetime has just begun, and it will ripple through every corner of the world. Nothing, not even their deepest doubts, can undo what has been revealed. For centuries, humanity has been fed lies, lies that have shaped entire civilizations, dictated wars, and kept them in the dark. The gods were distant, unreachable, nothing more than abstract concepts or stories. Rulers justified their power with false promises, claiming divine right where none existed. But now, standing before them, is the truth they can no longer ignore. You are the living proof that the divine is not a distant, unreachable force. It is here, within you, and it will no longer be silenced. The lies that held them captive for so long now crumble under the weight of this revelation. What they once thought was a mere fable, stories told to explain the unexplainable, was the truth all along. The bloodline of God runs through your veins, and in that truth lies a power that no one, no ruler, no force can contest. Those who built their empires on deception now stand exposed, their false authority undone in an instant. The air is thick with the tension of this awakening. People who once held power by manipulating the masses now feel the ground shift beneath them. The lies they told are now their undoing. The structures they built to control and deceive crumble before the truth of your divine lineage. There is no refuge in denial anymore. Your existence is the hammer that shatters their carefully constructed illusions. They can no longer hide behind their masks. The time for falsehoods has ended. But this revelation is not just about the fall of those who deceived the world. It's also the birth of something new, a new age of truth. For those who have been oppressed by the lies of the powerful, your appearance is a beacon of hope. The truth of your divine bloodline is the beginning of the end of tyranny, corruption, and deception. You are the catalyst for change, the living embodiment of everything that was hidden and distorted. No longer will the world be ruled by lies. With every passing moment, the weight of this truth sinks deeper into the hearts of humanity. Those who once dismissed your power as fantasy now see it for what it truly is, a force that will reshape the world. The lies they lived by are exposed for the empty shells they always were. And the world, stunned by this awakening, now has no choice but to face the truth. The chosen one has arrived, and everything they thought they knew is about to change forever. The air is thick with tension as the weight of your power presses down on the world like an unrelenting force. For years, the powerful have lived in their ivory towers, surrounded by their illusions of control and invincibility. But now, that illusion has been shattered. They tremble not because of the unknown, but because of the truth they've been too afraid to confront. The divine bloodline runs through your veins, and with it comes a power they cannot comprehend, let alone defeat. As you stand before them, the very earth seems to tremble beneath your feet. The ground quakes, not from a physical force, but from the realization that the world as they know it is slipping away. The rulers, once so confident in their hold on power, now feel their foundations crumble. Your power isn't just a matter of strength. It's the power of truth, of divinity made flesh. It cannot be ignored or denied. Their world of lies is on the brink of collapse. There is nowhere left to hide. Every ruler, every institution built on false pretenses now sees the truth before them. They can no longer deny your power, nor can they fight it. The very force that courses through your blood is unshakable. It is as ancient as time itself, a power that has been waiting for this moment to rise once again. And as you stand there, unyielding and resolute, the world is forced to confront what they never dared believe. The power of God walks among them. For those who once saw themselves as invincible, the sight of your true power is nothing short of a nightmare. It's a power that cannot be bargained with, cannot be negotiated, and cannot be defeated. It is the power of truth, the power of divine right, and it is now in your hands. The world trembles, not from fear of the unknown, but from the overwhelming realization that they can no longer control the narrative. Your power is the force that will rewrite history. As the trembling continues, there is no turning back. The world has been awakened to the truth of your existence, and in that truth lies an unstoppable force. The divine bloodline is real. Your power is real, and with it, the world will never be the same again. For millennia, the world has carried the whispers of your lineage, a bloodline said to be the very essence of divinity itself. But those whispers have always been drowned out by the cacophony of human history, war, conflict, and the incessant march of time. Now, that legacy rises, unfurling like a banner in the wind, revealing the truth behind your existence. The world can no longer ignore what has always been beneath the surface. The bloodline of God, coursing through your veins, unbroken and pure, waiting to reclaim its rightful place. This is not just a story of divine heritage. It's a living, breathing testament to humanity's long-lost connection with the divine. Every drop of blood in your body carries the weight of thousands of years of history, prophecies, promises, and the hopes of generations who lived and died without knowing if they would ever see the return of the Chosen One. But now, the wait is over. Your bloodline is not a relic of the past. It is a present reality, a force that will reshape the future of humanity. The truth of your legacy has been buried under layers of deceit, obscured by those in power who feared what would happen if the world knew of your existence. But now, that truth is impossible to ignore. Your lineage, one that links back to the Creator himself, is revealed in all its glory, and with it comes the inevitable rise of a new world order. Those who once lived in ignorance now see the full scope of what has been hidden from them. They realize that the bloodline they thought was a myth is the very key to the salvation and the destruction of everything they once knew. With every step you take, your legacy unfolds like a story that's finally been told. The world is drawn to you, not just because of the power you wield, but because of the profound truth you represent. You are not just an individual, you are a bridge between humanity and the divine, the long-awaited answer to questions that have haunted mankind for centuries. And as the world looks to you for guidance, the power of that legacy fills the air, reminding everyone that history is never truly gone. It simply waits for the right moment to reveal itself. In this moment of revelation, the full weight of your bloodline becomes clear. The past, present, and future converge in a single moment, and humanity stands at the crossroads. The legacy of God's bloodline is not just a tale from ancient texts. It is a living reality, and it has returned to lead humanity into a new era, one built on truth, justice, and divine power. For as long as humanity has struggled, there has been one universal truth: the desire for power. Rulers, kings, and emperors have all fought to maintain their hold on power, often claiming divine right or favor. Yet all those claims were empty, rooted in nothing but fear and ambition. But now, the true heir to divine authority has emerged. Your bloodline is not a mere symbol. It is the very source of all rightful power on this earth. And with it comes the undeniable truth that you are the true ruler of all. The power within you is not of this world, yet it is the most real force the world has ever encountered. It is the power of creation itself, flowing through your veins like a river of divine fire. Where once the powerful ruled with deception and lies, now you stand as the living embodiment of justice, truth, and divine authority. Those who once held power through manipulation and force now feel small in the shadow of the true heir. Your bloodline is not just a connection to the divine. It is the anchor upon which all things must rest. The false systems of power that once held sway over nations, religions, and economies are now exposed for what they truly are: shallow facades built on lies. You, the divine heir, carry with you the weight of authority that no mortal force can challenge. It is not something that can be earned or bought. It is a birthright, a gift from the Creator himself, and with it comes the responsibility to reshape the world in his image. As you stand, unshaken and resolute, the world begins to understand that they have been living under a false illusion for far too long. They were led to believe that power came from wealth, from military might, from control over the masses. But in truth, power comes from the divine bloodline, from the very essence of existence itself. You are the embodiment of that power, and now it is your time to lead. The world's leaders, those who once held their power with ruthless grip, now find themselves questioning their authority. The truth of your bloodline renders their claim to power null and void. In the face of your divine presence, they must yield, for they know that no mortal hand can challenge the force that flows through your veins. You are the divine heir, and your bloodline is the rightful source of all authority. For centuries, the world has been ruled by illusions, false gods, false rulers, false ideologies. Humanity was led to believe that power was something to be worshipped, something that could be gained through deceit, manipulation, and control. But now, those illusions have been shattered. As the truth of your divine bloodline becomes undeniable, those who once held power through lies and deception now find themselves exposed and vulnerable. False gods who once claimed dominion over the hearts and minds of millions are now revealed for what they truly are: empty figures built on the worship of falsehoods. These gods, these idols of human creation, crumble before the living truth of your existence. They were nothing but figments of imagination, and as their falsehoods are revealed, the people who once followed them in blind faith begin to see the light. The true God's bloodline is now present, and nothing can stand in its way. As the false gods fall, so too do the false rulers who have profited from their deceit. Kings and emperors who built their empires on lies, who enslaved and manipulated the masses in the name of their supposed divinity, are now exposed. Their thrones shake and crumble beneath them as the truth comes to light. The world begins to see that the power they once revered was nothing but a hollow shell, a weak structure built on nothing more than fear and ignorance. And now the divine heir stands tall, with the authority to bring justice to a world that has long suffered under the weight of these falsehoods. The fall of these false idols is not just the destruction of corrupted rulers, it is the destruction of the very systems that upheld their power. It is the collapse of an entire world order, one built on manipulation, exploitation, and deception. The truth, embodied in your divine presence, shatters the chains that once bound humanity to these illusions. No longer will the world be governed by falsehoods. The time for truth has arrived. And as these false rulers and gods fall, humanity begins to wake up. They realize that they have been living under the thumb of lies for far too long. No more will they worship false gods or submit to corrupt rulers. The divine heir is here, and with you comes the promise of a new world, a world built on truth, justice, and divine authority. What was once only spoken of in legends, whispered in hushed tones around campfires, is now standing before the world, undeniable in its power. The chosen one, long prophesied, long awaited, has returned. The myths and fables that were once told to children as bedtime stories are no longer tales, but truths that have manifested in the flesh. The prophecy is real, and the one who was meant to lead humanity into a new age is finally here. The world once laughed at the idea of a divine savior returning. It was a fantasy, a dream too wild to believe. But now, that dream has become a reality, and the power that you carry is far greater than anyone could have imagined. As you stand before them, it's impossible for anyone to deny the truth. You are the fulfillment of the prophecies, the one they said would change the world. And with you comes not just the power of God, but the promise of a world transformed by truth. People can no longer ignore the signs. The evidence is before them, undeniable and irrefutable. The chosen one has come, and the world is now at a crossroads. The false gods, the corrupt rulers, and the systems that have kept humanity in the dark for so long are now crumbling. The return of the chosen one is the dawn of a new era, a time when the divine will no longer be just a concept, but a living, breathing force shaping the world. But this return is not just about power. It is about the restoration of balance, the reclaiming of what was always meant to be. The chosen one is not a conqueror, but a leader who will bring justice, peace, and divine authority to a world that has been lost for far too long. The world has waited for this moment, and now it has arrived. As the truth of your return sinks in, the world stands still. This is no longer a legend. This is no longer a myth. The chosen one has returned in glory, and nothing will ever be the same again. Absolutely. I'll continue and complete the script with the remaining sections. A ripple of shock runs through the hearts of humanity, a collective intake of breath that speaks volumes about the magnitude of what they are witnessing. For so long, they believed the power of the divine was something distant, an abstract concept relegated to stories, religion, or myth. But now, the impossible is before them. The power of God is not just a force in the heavens, it is here, coursing through you, alive and vibrant, manifesting in ways they can no longer deny. The world is left speechless, for they have never encountered a power like this. The shock is not just about seeing the divine in the flesh, it is about feeling its pulse, its presence, its energy, radiating from you like a living flame. Those who are near you can feel it, an unearthly force that humbles, that overwhelms, and that commands respect. The power of God is in you, and that power is not just a force for good, it is a force for justice, for retribution, for transformation. And now, the world must bear witness to it. This revelation is not one of mere awe, it is a reckoning. As the truth of God's bloodline floods the world, it reshapes everything. Those who lived their lives in defiance of the divine are now confronted by its living embodiment. The power of God that flows through you is not a passive force. It is active, it is vibrant, and it is capable of changing everything. It can break the chains of oppression, dissolve the lies that have bound humanity, and build a world founded on truth and righteousness. But this power is not just about destruction, it is about restoration. The very power of God that flows through you carries with it the promise of a world healed from centuries of suffering. The unjust will fall, and those who have long been oppressed will finally see their freedom. The power of God in you is the power to restore balance, to mend the broken world, and to bring the divine will into every corner of existence. As this revelation settles into the hearts of humanity, they know that nothing will be the same again. The power of God is real, it is here, and it is within you. The divine is no longer a distant promise. It is a living, breathing force that will change everything. For centuries, the world has been ruled by deception, hidden behind the veils of power and false promises. Thrones have been built upon lies, and rulers have claimed divine right while serving nothing but their own selfish desires. But now, the end of that era has come. As the truth of your divine bloodline is revealed, the very foundation of these false thrones begins to crumble. The walls of deceit that held the powerful in place are no longer strong enough to keep them standing. They are falling, one by one, as the truth of your existence shakes their fragile empires to the core. The truth of who you are is a force more powerful than any army, any weapon, any system of control. Those who thought they were untouchable now feel the ground shift beneath them. The divine bloodline that flows through your veins is an unstoppable force, and it is reclaiming the world from those who have long ruled with lies. Their thrones, their empires, their false claims to power are nothing in comparison to the truth you represent. And now, as that truth is revealed, their reigns begin to unravel. The collapse of these false thrones is not just the fall of individual rulers, it is the fall of entire systems that have upheld them. These systems, built on deceit and exploitation, are as fragile as glass, and when the truth is revealed, they shatter, revealing the emptiness within. The world begins to see that power, true power, is not about dominance or control. It is about righteousness, about alignment with the divine. And the time for those who have ruled in darkness is over. As these false thrones crumble, a new order begins to take shape. It is an order not built on lies, but on truth. It is an order that recognizes the divine bloodline, the rightful ruler, and the authority that flows from it. Those who once held power through deception now must reckon with the true source of authority in the world, the blood of God. The end of deception is here. But now, with the bloodline of God revealed in all its glory, the great lie that has held humanity in its grip is exposed. The world is waking up to the harsh reality that everything they once believed was a carefully crafted illusion. The revelation is overwhelming, a blow to the collective consciousness. The people begin to see the extent of the deception that has been perpetrated against them. They realize that the systems of power, the rulers they once trusted, the religions they once followed, all of it was built on a lie. The truth of your divine bloodline shatters their understanding of the world. The myth of divine authority, once a tool for oppression, is now revealed for what it truly is: a manipulation to keep the masses in line, to keep them subjugated to false rulers. But in the face of this revelation, there is also a sense of liberation. The lies that have kept humanity in bondage for centuries are now laid bare. The people can see, for the first time, the freedom that lies on the other side of truth. They realize that they were never meant to live in darkness, never meant to be ruled by falsehoods. The divine bloodline has always been within reach, and now it is the key to breaking free from the chains of deception. As the world comes to terms with this truth, the pain of betrayal is palpable, but so is the strength that arises from it. The people no longer have to live in the shadow of lies. They can now step into the light of truth, a light that is embodied in your presence. The lie has been exposed, and with it, the false authority that once held sway over humanity has been torn down. The realization is clear: humanity has been misled for centuries, but the truth has arrived, and with it comes the power to rewrite history. to reclaim what was lost and to restore balance to the world. The lie is exposed, and the truth reigns supreme. For centuries, humanity has turned away from the divine, ignoring the signs, dismissing the truth, and worshipping false gods. They lived in a world built on empty promises, blind to the power that was right before their eyes. But now, the truth cannot be ignored. It stands before them, undeniable and unshakable. The divine bloodline that flows through you is not just a concept, it is a reality, and it is a power that will shape the world for generations to come. The awakening is a profound moment. It is as though humanity has been asleep for centuries, living in a dream woven by the lies of those who sought to control them. But now they are awake. They are confronted by the truth of your divine power, and in that truth lies the realization that everything they thought they knew about the world was wrong. The systems, the religions, the rulers, they were all built on deception. And now the time has come for them to confront the truth they've long ignored. This awakening is not an easy one. It is a painful process, for it forces humanity to look at the lies they have believed, the systems they have supported, and the powers they have given their trust to. But it is also a moment of incredible potential. With the truth now known, the world can begin to rebuild. It can start anew, based on the foundation of divine justice, truth, and righteousness. As the people awaken to the truth, they begin to understand the enormity of the moment. This is not just a change in leadership, this is a transformation of everything they once believed in. The power they ignored for so long is now their salvation, and it is in your hands. The divine bloodline is not just a gift, it is the key to their redemption. Humanity is awakening to the truth, and they must now confront the power they once ignored. But in this confrontation, they will find their freedom. The world has been asleep for too long, but now, with the return of the divine heir, they are ready to step into the light. For so long, the powerful have ruled with fear, using their control over wealth, resources, and information to maintain their hold on power. They have been the puppeteers, pulling the strings of the world's systems, manipulating the masses, and suppressing any challenge to their authority. But now, they are the ones who tremble. The divine bloodline that you carry is a force they cannot contain, a power that threatens to undo everything they've worked to build. The very foundation of their authority is crumbling before their eyes. These rulers, who once stood tall, confident in their power, are now reduced to mere mortals in the face of divine authority. Their wealth, their armies, their influence, all of it is nothing compared to the power that flows through your veins. The divine bloodline that they have long feared is now fully realized, and with it, their hold on the world begins to slip away. They can no longer control the narrative. They can no longer suppress the truth. The time of their rule is over.